Hello friends, Elaine here, and we are part of the game day week. So as the week is moving strong and forward towards the Super Bowl, what are you serving? What's on the menu? For those of us who's looking for food that can meet the fun snack of it all, but at the same time, we don't want to do anything that's going to cause us to gain weight or make that sugar monster in us turn around and start saying more sugar, eat sugar. And then we've gained several pounds after game day and we're mad at ourselves. We're looking at our jeans can't quite fasten and we're going, why did you do that? Was it worth it? And usually, no, wasn't worth it. So let's get back on the wagon and let's talk about foods that are great, easy to snack on, healthy for us, taste good, and can fit the bill for something like game day. How about nachos? Now, these nachos may be a little different from any that you've had before. Maybe not if you are a vegan, and maybe if you are conscious about eating plant-based. Let's show you a super simple, quick and easy recipe for nachos. Here's a look at the ingredients that will be used in the nachos, whether it's in the crumble itself or the taco seasoning that we will create. Hi guys, welcome back. Let's make this a simple recipe today, okay? So I have my cup of protein crumbles right there. And then I have a clear measuring cup right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some of my ingredients into this bowl. I have 1 teaspoon of miso, a half teaspoon of garlic powder as well as onion powder. We're also going to add 1 teaspoon of pomegranate concentrate. And what all of this is going to do, once I add my half cup of hot water, we're going to add this into the bowl. And what I want to do is I'm going to whisk this until my miso melts. The idea behind this is if you are vegan or you use soy protein crumbles, pea crumbles like I use, whatever other texturized crumbles are out there. Sometimes when you take them and you add the water to them, maybe you could add like vegetable stock to them and it'll do the trick. But sometimes you can taste the sauce flavor of the whatever you're making itself, but the crumble itself is kind of bland. So what we're doing is we're getting these components into the crumble itself. We're going to take our cup of protein crumbles, place it into our mixture there, and we're going to stir it around. So we're going to set our crumble mixture aside and let it soak in that mixture for about 5 minutes. So during that time, we'll go ahead and get our taco seasoning prepared. Ready for the taco seasoning? Great, let's get started. So I'm going to start with 1 tablespoon of diced onion. Dried onion is something that I use when I'm making enough taco seasoning just to make it, put it in the cabinet, and one day when I'm really busy and I just kind of need to make tacos and go, it's there. I always love and prefer to just chop up onions with the crumbles and let them cook together to flavor it. So I'm just kind of giving you my taco seasoning recipe for the quick days. And then I also add a tablespoon of almond flour. And that's going to be just to give it a little bit of a thickness. Brown sugar substitute sweetener. And I'm just going to try to break that up, that sweetener sometimes just kind of want to sit there. So I'm just going to take a moment just to kind of stir these few ingredients together to make sure that the brown sugar doesn't clump together. Then I'm going to add cumin, oregano. We're then going to add a half tablespoon of parsley. I have 1 teaspoon of chipotle chili powder, and then also 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. I have a half teaspoon of smoked paprika. Then I finally have a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, as well as a 1/4 teaspoon of cocoa powder. If you don't necessarily care for spice, then you can definitely back off of the red pepper flakes and not include them in your taco seasoning mixture. So we're going to go ahead and just give this a stir, and if you can see into my cup there, this is how that looks. It smells great. And I always recommend, like, I didn't include any salt in this mixture because I use the miso inside of the crumble. If you are not using miso in your crumble, I recommend adding maybe a teaspoon of salt to this, maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. You can always add salt later to your dish if it needs it, but that way it's not too salty. I also highly recommend just maybe taking a little bit of your mixture. I have some here on my spatula. I think it tastes pretty good. It is spicy. So if you, again, aren't a person looking for spice, you may want to back off of that again, but I am ready to go with my taco seasoning, so I'll meet you at the stovetop. So we're at our stovetop. I've let my skillet heat up a little bit. I'm then going to take a little bit of avocado spray. I'm going to then add my crumbles. We're going to stir the crumbles in the skillet for about 2 minutes just to get these guys kind of golden. Once we cook that for about 2 minutes, we're going to take our seasoning. I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of seasoning for what is considered 1 pound of crumbles. And along with that, I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of water. We're going to turn this down to allow it to simmer. Give it a nice stir to ensure the seasoning reaches all of the crumbles. And then we're going to cover this and allow it to simmer for about 5 to 15 minutes. While that is cooking, we're going to do the fun part of preparing the nachos. Yes, you thought I meant tortilla chips? No way. Have a living tortilla chip that's going to do wonders for your eyesight, your health, and your waistline. So let's get started with our fantastic tortillas. All right, so we're ready. We have our tortillas. Over here on the left, we have a little waste bowl here, and we have our platter ready to go. So we're just going to take our peppers, and we're going to score those guys. We're just going to clean the membrane out on the center, and we're just going to then add it to our platter. And you can decide, just like you would take and throw tortilla chips down, or kind of some of us may arrange them on the plate. It's up to you to design the look that you want for your day. Although it's a little bit harder to clean, instead of cutting down the line where the membrane is, it kind of works more like a chip if you want it flat. where you can just fill it with the meat versus having it cut this way. It becomes a little bit more concave, a little bit more like a little boat. Um, so again, I leave that to you. Much easier to clean, much better when you're eating. For my tacos, I actually use sweet bell peppers, and then I will cut along the line that indicates where the membrane is, because it then forms that little, definitely that boat or that shell where you want everything to kind of sit inside of it. But for these guys, a lot of times I cut right in the middle of that membrane, and it makes it a little tougher clean, but it does give you a flatter tortilla shell, I'll say, or tortilla chip, I will say. So it's up to you, you know, if you're okay just kind of doing a little extra cleaning or a little bit more attention to detail than not. And then like that, you have your plate full of nachos. So when your nachos are all ready to go on your plate, the meat that we've made is also ready to go. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get started. I typically would like to put some lettuce, even romaine. I will back off the spinach to romaine, but my son is like, Mom, this is not a taco salad. I just want nachos. So for game day, Super Bowl, okay, I will back away even from the romaine. For myself, maybe I'll put some on the little plate that, you know, the few that I pick off for me. So for you to make yourselves happy, ladies, or those who like to get their greens in, definitely do add it onto your plate and eat it with it. But just for him, the basic nacho for him are the chips. There's the look of our taco meat that we've made, so we're just going to sprinkle that right onto the top. And instead of making it for everyone the same, or for everyone to eat off of, which I really like, I think that's very communal and fun, especially when you're with family and definitely friends that are like family. You could choose to place the natural tortilla chips off to the side with regular tortilla chips, or actually there is a blue corn chip that I find very interesting. It is fried, of course, but it does have like a low carb count and a high amount of fiber, which is great. So chips like that might be of great interest. And then what, of course, are tortillas without either some shredded or melted cheese? The cheese is basically a raw cashew cheese, homemade, which is great for this. You can then top it with various ingredients. This is mango salsa. You can top that on there to give it a little bit of a sweetness, which is why I kind of made the meat itself a little bit spicy. You can also choose, maybe if you're using a store-bought salsa, just mix that right in with your cheese to give that cheese some nice spicy type flavor. You can also choose to top it with, you know, a little bit of avocado. And of course, these items can be separate from your actual like dish, and everyone can make their own, but maybe a few jalapenos just for that nice height spicy flavor. And there you have a low carb, health conscious plate of nachos. We always have to take a little bit of a bite. I will start with one here on the back. That tortilla is just so naturally scooping everything right into it, so it makes it super easy to take a bite. That's really good. So working with your taco sauce and kind of adjusting the seasoning to how you're going to be eating it is super important. A lot of times with vegan food, especially with the protein crumbles, it needs a bit of flavor to help make it like kind of stand out. This is a spicy hot recipe. You can always modify the recipe and reach out to me and ask me for different modifications that you can make. There are times where I start with onion powder as being my bases, and I of course lean up heavy off of like the red pepper flakes and things like that that can really bring that spice. But for this, it's yummy. I really hope that you enjoy this one. As always, I'm super excited that you can join me here at Elaine's Vegan Lifestyle. I'm always hoping that you find a tip or trick that just makes life a little bit easier and healthier for you. Please do come back, subscribe, join, share, all of those things. I'd like to be here on this channel a bit more. So the more I hear from you, the more I see you're watching, subscribing, sharing. That lets me know you're interested, and that lets me know to keep on making videos. Have a great Super Bowl. I hope your best team wins, and I hope we win at losing weight. Do take care. Enjoy. Bye for now.